What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, been talking about with you guys. Very recently, Nick Batum actually decided to re-sign with the Los Angeles Clippers, but there were a lot of kind of speculations and stuff going on with Batum, as he actually did re-sign with them, but before he decided to make this decision, it was being reported at the time that the Miami Heat and Golden State Warriors and Indiana Pacers were all interested in Nicolas Batum, and that was all being reported by Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports. People were kind of told that Nick Batum was actually getting re-signed by the LA Clippers, but this might not be, to be a permanent player for the team, as potentially he might have actually gotten signed and traded to a different team, but of course, that never happened. So there are other theories and speculations kind of coming around right now that suggest that he could still be on the trade block and could actually be still a part of a sign and trade that could actually send him to the Golden State Warriors. And I actually wanted to talk about this because the Warriors were pretty interested in signing him, like this does say, and of course some people are still saying he could be on the move, and then again a lot of people have brought it back to the Warriors. So, I thought let's make this video to talk about that. I guess he is still a trade target for the Golden State Warriors. Should they go after him? Should they not? What would they have to give up? I guess will all be answered in this video. But first of all, I just wanted to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I thought the Los Angeles Clippers had been making great move after great move. For example, they signed DeMarcus Cousins, fired Doc Rivers, and hired Ty Lue to be their new head coach. They got Ty Lue to help out Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and implemented a new triangle system for Kawhi Leonard. And ultimately, Kawhi Leonard seemed to be better off with his Clippers, so did Paul George. They both seemed to be, playing much better under Doc Rivers. And then they ended up going out and trading for Rondo. Now, all of these things were great because the only missing piece I think they needed was maybe a third star, which should have been a point guard. That's why I reckon they should have really gone out and gotten Kyle Lowry, but they just weren't able to. But again, I was like, you know what, Rondo, right, they can settle on Rajon Rondo. He's a good player, will be a good ball handler and good playmaker for them when they need, and he'll probably start, and they'll continue to play Reggie Jackson off the bench as like a high power volume, scorer off the bench. But then they decided to do one of the most weirdest things that I am so confused about. I absolutely hated this trade when they happened, but they decided to trade Patrick Beverley and Rajon Rondo for Eric Bledsoe. And the rumors are originally Nicolas Batum might have been in this deal. Didn't actually happen. But again, Rondo and Beverley for Eric Bledsoe. In my opinion right now, if I had to pick between two players and I was the Clippers, I would have been taking Eric Bledsoe. Rajon Rondo rather. But they decided to take Eric Bledsoe. And then they also gave up Patrick Beverley to make this happen. I think it's one of the most bizarre decisions because Bledsoe is not a great playmaker at all. In fact, he can be a good defender in the league. He's been a very good defender in the past. I thought that was going to continue on, right? But again, whether or not he continues to be a good defender in this league or not, I still don't see why they traded for him, considering, look, he can be a good defender and he can be an alright scorer. But he's not that great of a playmaker, and that was the main thing they needed, was playmaking. That's why Rondo was so perfect for this team. Then they traded their heart and soul. This is like the big bad decision, trading their heart and soul and Patrick Beverley away. I don't know why they would make these moves. I don't think Eric Bledsoe is better than Rondo. He's probably better than Beverley, but I don't know if he's a better fit for the team than what Rondo is. So you have that happen. Then you've got this Nicolas Batum thing. I think mistake number 2 would be to trade away Nicolas Batum, because he started most of this season, and I think what was so good about Nick Batum is he legitimately played like a small ball center role for them in the playoffs, which he had never played before, and he actually did alright. Like, if this dude was asked to play a small ball role in the future again, I think he might actually do a fine job. The really weird thing to think is, like, 2 years ago, this dude was a shooting guard, and now he's playing small ball center. It is so bizarre to me, but yeah, I think the Warriors should be interested in Rondo. I've made a different video on this, but because apparently he wants out of the Grizzlies already without even playing a game there. But why not be interested in Batum now? If the Clippers are trying to change some things up, they might be still wanting to change Batum up and get a different player in. Again, I know they still haven't signed DeMarcus Cousins, but I think bringing in Batum and him actually having such a good season kind of minimized the role Marcus Morris plays on this team. So again, I'm not too sure. I think keeping Batum would be a great thing, but if you're the Warriors, you got to try and go out and get him. I think he'd be great for them, especially with their small ball team. You know, a good 3-point shooter off the bench, a veteran that can guard really 1 through 5 now, apparently. I don't know how that's possible, but he can. I don't see why you wouldn't go out and get him, considering they're looking to make all these moves here and there. Maybe they're looking for another center. You know, they brought back Zubac, but they didn't bring back Cousins. You know, they have Ibaka, who they brought back as well. But there have been rumors they're trying to trade him and might trade him on the deadline. Maybe you look at like a third big, like Kevon Looney, to maybe bring in. Could be an idea. He can also play a bit of small ball center because he's 6'9". I believe he is mainly a small ball center. That is his role. You could look at him maybe and a couple second round picks. I really struggle though to see who they could trade for on this, you know, Warriors team. Like, why would the Clippers want to trade Nicolas Batum? Like, there's just not really much the Warriors would give up that they would want. Of course, like their whole starting 5, the Warriors would want maybe one of those players, but they're not trading Nicolas Batum for Steph Curry, you know? So, it's a really hard one. But in my opinion, Nicolas Batum is worth maybe just a casual role player and 2 second-round picks. I think that's what Batum's worth, guys. I think Batum proved that he's more than just a role player with his time at the Clippers. Like, he had a very, very underrated season, so I think his trade value's definitely improved a little bit. But yeah, I think he will be a trade target for the Warriors in the long term, and who knows, maybe they look to trade Bielitsa in a couple seconds for him at the deadline or something like that. But he'll be a trade target for them, I think, in the long term. Should they go after him? Of course they should. Will they get him? I don't think so. I think he'll remain a Clipper for a little bit more time. But again, the Clippers are still trying to trade a bunch of players away. They're looking at different players here and there to maybe trade away. You know, we've seen that Serge Ibaka might be on the move. That's one player in particular they might still be looking to trade. I think they want to bring back DeMarcus Cousins, but I don't know if they'll have the roster spots. I don't know. The Clippers, there'll be a couple interesting things for them to go over. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA news and NBA content. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/long channels, which I will all link in the description down below. Don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already, which I will all be linking in the description down below. But yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions. And as I was saying, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.